I'm Steve Maxwell, and in this video I'm going to give you a little tour of a few new things from Milwaukee. In the course of my work I get lots of tools from all different companies. I try them out, keep some for myself. I've actually given away more tools than I have in my own shop, and I just want to show you some exceptional tools here. I'm not showing you every new thing from Milwaukee, but I want to show you some things that I do find useful. And the first one is this CutOff Saw here. It's cordless, so it takes their 18-volt battery. It can take the largest one that they offer, and it's for just generally cutting of metal and masonry when you don't need a whole lot of horsepower. Like this is a fairly small tool. It does have a water connection so that when you're cutting masonry, it keeps the dust down. Well, it completely eliminates dust, actually. What I use this tool more for, though, is metalworking. It has gotten me out of some serious jams with metalworking projects that I've made, and it's essentially got a nice thin abrasive wheel. This is the wheel that came with it, but of course you'll soon wear this out and you'll need to get others. So this is a supply that I have on hand. It's very important that you have supplies on hand for these tools because most tools are useless without some kind of supply. But this is terrific for cutting metal, and also if you've welded something up and the weld isn't quite right and you need to take it apart again, it's very easy to grind through with this. One interesting thing that the Milwaukee people have included is this little light here. Now normally, when you turn on the tool, the light doesn't illuminate. But when you're cutting, it can tell you when you're overloading the tool. Now, in years past, when people overloaded an electric tool, all that happened was the thing burned out. I mean, a corded tool, the windings would burn out. Cordless tool, the motor could fry, the battery could get toasted. So nowadays they've gotten smarter with designs, and in fact, if you try to overload any Milwaukee cordless tool, eventually it'll shut itself off and it'll just stop you from working altogether. So that's one level of protection. Another level is this light here. When you're working the tool too hard, it will go yellow. So that means just back off, ease off on the tool a little bit, give it a little more time to do what it wants to do, and you won't have any trouble. So cordless tools in general have gotten a lot smarter, a lot more resilient, a lot more durable. But I've never seen a company take it further than Milwaukee. They've really incorporated a lot of these safety features into their tools. Here's another thing that I find useful. This is cordless ratchet wrenches. This is a 1/2 inch and this is a 3/8 inch drive. Now this is not going to take the place of a regular ratchet wrench, at least not in my experience. It can't tighten enough. It can't tighten as firmly as you might like. Not under motor power anyway. However, tools like these are great for undoing fasteners that you've already broken free, maybe with a regular wrench, and reapplying those fasteners as well. So putting them on, especially in tight quarters. So instead of just, doing it with your fingers and slowly getting in it, if you can get this tool in with a socket on it, you can make awfully good progress. So Milwaukee's one of the companies that's taken this whole cordless mechanics tools thing to another level. And this is an example of what they're up to. And it's something to consider if you do a lot of mechanical work. Now also, further on the metalworking side of things, this is a cordless die grinder, it's called. So it gets its name from the fact that, in the production of dies for molding things like plastic, the metal has to be shaped, and that's kind of what a die grinder is used for. But I would doubt very much that these die grinders actually grind commercial dies very often. Where they do shine and where they're very useful is grinding in close quarters. So high RPM, and it takes abrasive stones with a 1/4 inch diameter shank. That's what I have here. You're going to go through these a lot with a tool like this. So I keep a bunch of them in here. You need a wrench, of course, to change the abrasive, but that's how that works. And you know, you're not going to use this, you're not likely to use this tool very often. I don't, but when I need it, it's absolutely indispensable. It has saved me from a lot of trouble. So I have owned a die grinder that was a plug-in model before, but when I need to do some precision grinding, I grab the cordless because it just works so well. And really, I consider it an essential part of my metalworking work and machine repair, things like that. So the last tool I want to talk to you about now is just this little cordless light. The whole light thing has gotten much more advanced, portable lights. So this is rechargeable. It recharges with a USB cable, and it's swivelable. So you can direct the beam, and then also, this is pretty important too, magnet on the back. So you know, if you want to stick it somewhere, you can. So Milwaukee tools, Milwaukee is certainly one of the leading brands in terms of innovation. I can only think of one other power tool company that's kind of going head to head with Milwaukee for innovation. So newish sorts of tools, many of which that have never been made before. And their focus has been, and probably still is to a large extent, the industrial side. So professionals, it's for professional users. But the fact is that if you're a serious DIYer, either home improvements, mechanical stuff, metal fabrication, you have every bit as much of a need for high quality tools as a professional if you take your work seriously. And I take mine seriously. I often make full use of professional grade tools for the work that I do around my house and country property here. So other than pointing out these tools and what they're useful for and the fact that I like them, I would urge you to buy higher quality than you think you need. There is a tendency amongst non-professionals to say, well, you know, I don't really need this, I'm not a professional. All that does is it sows the seeds for frustration in the future. Frustration, and it also holds down your progress in terms of acquiring skills, because it won't be very long before that tool that you thought was enough is actually the limiting factor in what you can do, how much you can accomplish, the quality of your work, of the work you do. So here's a little Milwaukee showcase for you.